Right. In terms of the automotive industry, do you think more research should go into improving emissions on current vehicles or more towards vehicles powered by alternative energy?
Hi, my name is Brian, and the question posed to me was, do you think automotive manufacturers should push towards lower emissions or alternative fuel sources? I like this question a lot, actually. I feel like there's a huge push on automotive manufacturers to get the emissions down. There's already legislation that's been implemented that says that you're using emissions for certain size displacement engines have to be at like this level by this year. So they're already starting to like force manufacturers to reduce. And then you have stuff, diesel is like a huge problem because everyone doesn't like the big black, roll coal smoke, like those huge clouds. And so they've actually implemented multiple emissions reduction systems. And it's honestly, I feel like some of that stuff kind of goes too far politically. I know for a fact that like Blue Def is just a scam that doesn't actually do anything. It just changes the color of the smoke. That's all it does. And it's a urea-based fluid, and one politician has the rights to it. So every time you buy a bottle of it, it's basically just going in his pockets, and it doesn't actually do anything. But in terms of alternative fuel sources, absolutely. I feel like we should be pushing more like E85 stuff. Maybe it's not great for the environment, but it takes a big load off of the oil and gas industry. I feel like they're developing some other stuff that has to do with using a bunch of different like kind of biodegradable stuff, and I feel like that's a really good direction to go into. If we take like our waste and turn that into fuel, that's a huge positive in my opinion. But in terms of getting those emissions down, you can see like Ford starting to do the EcoBoost with the trucks. They're like bringing the displacement down, putting turbos on cars, forced induction to get the most power out of the smallest displacement. And so when they start doing stuff like that, you can definitely tell that they're feeling it from the government. And the emissions on that stuff is just the higher octane you're burning, the harder it is to get those emissions down. So whenever you're putting performance stuff on there, it's difficult. So I feel like the government's pushing really hard. And in summary, I feel alternative fuel is probably going to be the future. I hope they don't totally do away with internal combustion engine because I love it. But I feel like that a lot of it's political, but I think there's also a spot, in the reality of our home to keep it safe. And I feel like the push on it's probably a positive thing overall.
Right. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, you mentioned a lot about the politicians pushing. Do you think the politicians should continue pushing, or should we rely on the industry to try to fix itself?
I feel like that the politicians, because you're always going to have politics pushing on big industry like automotive, chemical plants getting pushed on. And there's like science, and then there's people that are just like, they want votes, so they're going to do all these things that, people get this idea in their head that like, oh my gosh, diesel's the worst thing ever, but in reality, those black clouds of smoke are less harmful to the environment than like your car is. And it just looks bad. And so they start, pushing on all this like, we need DEF, we need, diesel particulate filters, we need that diesel exhaust, we need, all this stuff, EGR, whatever it is. They have all that stuff, and so they're pushing real hard on it. And it's just really hard to kind of become clear about what actually needs to be done. A lot of it's just kind of jumbled up political stuff, and a lot of it actually decreases the component lifespan on vehicles. Like a diesel particulate filter would definitely wreck a turbine a lot faster than if it wasn't there. But
More scientists, politicians, less lawyer.
yeah, it's a mess, man.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What politician has the rights to DEF?
It's somebody in Illinois, I think. I don't know exactly who it is. All I know is that there's like one politician that was like, hey, Blue Def. And then so now he pushed that legislature through, and every diesel now, like I think after like 2011 or something like that, has to have DEF. Marine, farm equipment sometimes has to have it. All diesel.
I know.